so much for this day. God, we thank you so much just for gathering us here. Lord, I pray that you do your work tonight. God, I ask that you speak through Shelley. God, I ask that you just let your spirit be known here. God, we love and praise you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Want to sing that?
Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus.
All right, so tonight, as I mentioned earlier, Shelley Brown from Women's Care Center is here to do the talking. And yeah, you're not going to be clapping. How many of you have had Shelley at your school so far this school year? Yeah, well, she's got a really tough message to share, but one that we really need to hear. And so she's going to come up tonight, and I'm just going to give her the rest of the evening. So clap now, feel awkward later.
Wow. Hey guys. Hello, hello. Oh, there I am. So let me see. Oh my goodness, I forgot how bright it is up here. So let me see a show of hands of how many people have had me in class. Oh my gosh, you guys love me, don't you? Did I bring slides to all of your schools? Yes! No. I'm not going to do that tonight, so don't freak out. No slides. Alright. Whoa! Too close to the speaker. Like my Mary Poppins, I got a whole bag full of fun stuff.
Mary
Has anybody seen the new Mary Poppins movie?
Yeah.
Is it great?
It was good. It was good.
It's stuck to my binder.
It's magic.
I'm a hot mess, guys. Alright.
No, I like it.
Ready for this?
No.
Not ready. Sorry. What happened?
I forgot about this. I was wondering why I came this week.
You were wondering why what?
I came this week.
I'm so excited. I'm going to pray before we get started, okay? God, thank you for the opportunity for allowing me to be here tonight. Lord, I just pray that you open the minds and the hearts of all of these students, Lord, and let this message penetrate them. And Lord, I just pray that you use me as a vessel, speak through me, and into the hearts and minds of these kids. Amen. All right. So last week you guys had a message about premarital sex, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that word sex a lot, so you better just get used to it, okay? If it makes you feel awkward, raise your hand. Should we all say it together? No! We should all say it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's a part of life, and we're going to talk about it, okay? It's weird, they said. It is weird. I'm glad you feel that way. So, you know what's really funny? I'm going to tell you something, because I'm like so ADD, and I thought about this, so I thought I should tell you. Your youth pastor, Eric, actually got me this job at Women's Care Center. How cool is that? So, people always ask, like, when you were little, and people said, what do you want to be when you grow up? Did you think, I can't wait to grow up and teach kids about sex? The answer is no. That's not what I thought. I thought I was going to be a nurse, and that's what I went to school to do. But blood makes me pass out, like cold, out, on the ground. You guys, my husband thought I died one time because I passed out so hard he couldn't make me wake up, and he took me to the emergency room. And it's because I saw blood. So, obviously, I can't be a nurse. So I went to school, then I trained to be a massage therapist. And that's what I've done most of my adult life. So I thought I could make people feel good without looking at the insides of their bodies. And so that was awesome for a while, but my heart is with youth. It's with youth. And so I worked with youth for several years, and I actually stepped down from being a youth pastor myself to start Bible clubs in schools. So some of your schools have a Generation Next Club, and I started that, well, with the help of lots and lots of people, and Jesus, of course. But that is what I stepped down to do. And so this actually was an amazing outlet Eric thought of whenever this job came available, to see you guys both in class and in club. So isn't that cool? So that's my backstory. People always want to know. So there you go. I didn't grow up and think this is what I was going to do when I got older. But it is what I do. So let's get started. Oh no. It's not that bad, guys. It's really not.
That's what they all say.
So you guys have been studying in 1 Corinthians, right? Is that right? Is that what you guys talked about last week? Okay, so do you guys think that sex is just physical? Is it just a physical thing? What is it?
What? She said not if used right.
Not if it's used correctly. I mean,
Is there a misuse of sex?
when you're married,
Yes.
it's the right way.
But do you believe that it's just physical?
No.
Like, that's what you hear though, right? Sex is just sex. Friends with benefits. Like, what are some of the other things? You're trying to get your body count high. Like, I know all the things. So don't. What is it?
Kids are just an 18-year commitment.
Kids are an 18-year commitment. I haven't heard that. I thought I heard all the things, but I didn't hear that. So that is a false advertisement. It's not. Sex isn't just sex. But every Netflix show you watch and every Hulu or YouTube or whatever you guys watch is all. What do? It's casual sex, right? Do they ever show like people winding up with STDs or weird stuff?
Yes.
What, Grey's Anatomy? I know that's what you're going to say because it's the only one that I know of. O'Malley ended up with an STD. But can you think of several other shows that you guys watch and they sleep around that they're showing the bad things or they're just showing the fun part?
A couple of times in the meeting once in a while.
Yeah, they mostly show the fun part. They make you feel like, well, I'm probably the only one not doing it, right? Does it make you feel that way? No? Some of you say no, some of you say yes. No? Okay. Well, that's good. I thought the media was way worse than that, but maybe it's not. Because every music video I watch is really bad. Like, I love a song, so I watch the music video, and then I'm like, this is trash. Like, why would they show this? You guys ever watch one of those music videos? Yeah? Yeah. Well, so sex isn't just sex. So I hate to break that to you. It's not. It's emotional. It's emotional. So what are some of the emotional things that can happen? Tell me. Nobody knows. If you have sex before you're married, what are some emotional things that can happen? Anxiety, depression. Let's see. That's not emotional. I said that. Okay. Look at me. I just dropped things. All right. How about this one? Do you think regret and guilt happens? Oh, that sounds music. Regret and guilt? People regret what they've done. Maybe you regret giving in before they thought they were ready. Guilty for not waiting. Do you think regret and guilt comes along with premarital sex? Premarital just meaning before you're married. Yes? Okay. What else we got here? How about fear of future relationships? Basically, do you think sex messes up future relationships? Yeah, it does. This is a big one. Depression. Do you think that depression is already a problem in your age group?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like 95% of the people.
It's a big problem, right? Do you know that sexually active girls are 3 times more likely to attempt suicide than girls who are not sexually active? Do you think guys is higher or lower?
I don't know. Lower. Because guys don't really care. Higher. Lower. Higher. I don't
Guys who are sexually active are 8 times more likely to attempt suicide than guys who are not sexually active.
That stops me.
That's not just physical statistics, is it? It messes with our minds. Why do you think that is?
Wait.
Do you think that we're connecting emotionally?
Yes. Yes. I'm right.
Impaired personal development, and that's just a fancy way of saying that when we lack something, or when we're stressed, or when we're upset, and we go to sex to fill that hole, to fill that gap, then it impairs other areas like communication skills or coping skills. And so you might see a pattern maybe in yourself or in friends that when they're upset about something, stressed about something, they go to sex, and then they feel bad about having sex, and so then they feel bad about themselves, and then what do? They do it again because they think it's going to fix it. It's kind of like how the addiction to alcohol starts, or the addiction to drugs start. Because when we don't know how to fix the problem that's in us, we try other things to try to fix it. Here's a big one. Worry. Who's going to find out? My parents going to find out? That's fun. I always say, are you guys more afraid of your parents or the police? And people are like, my parents.
My parents are the police.
Worry, are my parents going to find out? More than that. How's this going to affect me? How am I going to get pregnant? Am I going to get my girlfriend pregnant? We're going to get an STD? Worry. There's a lot of worry. Are people going to talk about me and spread rumors at school? Last one. Lowered self-esteem. So what's the likelihood of a relationship in middle school or high school going to marriage?
Nothing.
Hardly anything.
It's probably a very low percentage. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So, you have sex with this person, then they're not in your life anymore. So you've given them the most valuable gift that you can give somebody, and they're not in your life anymore. So you start thinking things like, well, am I not pretty enough? Am I not good enough? Am I not smart enough? Do they not like the way I look, the way my family is? You start to question, what went wrong? It lowers your self-esteem. What are the very basic physical needs that we need to stay alive?
Water.
We need food.
Shelter.
We need water. Shelter's nice, but there's lots of people that live without it.
Coffee.
No.
Talk to.
Although I need coffee to be nice. I just said that, you I'm sorry.
Sleep.
Sleep. And what else?
Humans to talk to. Weapons.
You gotta know your crowd. You gotta know your crowd. Okay. Let me make it really simple. You have to have air to breathe. So you need food, you need water, you need oxygen, and your body has to sleep. Very basic. I mean, like, shelter's nice, right? Clothes are nice, because that would be weird if we didn't have clothes. But you don't have to have those to survive. So do you think there's really very basic emotional needs that we need to be healthy?
Probably, yeah. Yes.
What do you think those are? We need to feel
Love.
loved, wanted,
Happy. Safe.
safe. What else?
What's the opposite of that?
How about accepted? Accepted for who you are, even if you're not like your family, or you're not like the kids at school. We still have that need, right? To feel accepted. How about valued? That we're valuable. We're worth something. Very basic emotional need. And self-confidence. What's that?
You feel confident in yourself.
You feel confident in yourself, but what does it mean? To see yourself as valuable. Not just other people telling you that you are, but to see yourself that way. These are the very basic emotional things that we all need in our lives to be emotionally healthy. Does everybody get those? They don't. Some of you might, but not everybody does. Probably most of us are lacking in one of those areas. So what do people do when there's that hole, that gap?
Fall into depression. They try to fill it with something else.
They try to fill it with something else. A lot of people have sex. And this just isn't teenagers, this is adults too. A lot of times people look for someone else to fill that for them. And so they'll go to sex. And again, we just talked about it, it becomes a vicious cycle. Because then all of these emotional things that I just showed you are an effect of that choice that we made. So when you talk about sex in church, obviously, you guys have heard from Pastor Eric and from other people that God says to wait, right? What'd you learn last week?
Don't have sex.
Don't have sex?
Not until you're married.
Not until you're married. But do you think that, yeah, do you have your hand up back there?
Premarital sex. No.
No, say no to premarital sex is what you learned. But do you think that we talk about that in church just because we're like old school or that's contemporary? Like, come on guys, it's 2019, everybody's sleeping with everybody. Is that what it feels like?
I'm sleeping with my
Do you think the Bible's irrelevant? No, it's not. It's not. If you remember the scripture that Eric read you last week, I pulled out a couple of verses of it. This is in the Message translation. There's more to sex than mere skin on skin. Sex is as much spiritual mystery as physical fact. As written in scripture, the two become one. Have you guys heard that? Like at a wedding, when two become one? That's what it means when they have sex. Two become one. But that's not just physical, they become one spiritually. Since we want to become spiritually one with the Master, we must not pursue the kind of sex that avoids commitment and intimacy, leaving us more lonely than ever. The kind of sex that can never become one. So if you're not planning on becoming one with someone spiritually, God says that's not okay. Did you ever think of it that way? That's kind of deep, right? So I'm going to let you think about that while we move on. So if we want to have healthy relationships, am I going to squeal if I come over here?
Just because of the monitor.
Okay. I'm so high up, guys. I can see all of you now. Okay. So some of you maybe have seen this in your class, but someone can't just come in and say, well, don't do it. Don't have a boyfriend, don't have a girlfriend, don't have a sex, don't do this, don't do that, without giving you some practical applications on, well, then how do I build relationships healthy? So I'm going to compare it to building a house. Have any of you guys had me do this in your class before? A few of you? Okay. So this is really, really profound in helping you remember. It was for me anyway. So if you're going to build a house, like how many of you guys have built houses with Legos or with, what else do you build? Lincoln logs. You guys remember Lincoln logs? You build a house or you build your like cabin or whatever. So if you're going to build your house, what would you need first? A foundation, right? What's a foundation going to do for your house? Make it so it doesn't fall down, so stable. What else does the foundation do?
It keeps it from falling.
So that's what I just
Stable, keeps it safe, I guess. So, all right, safety.
Oh yeah.
Wait, am I spelling that right?
No.
Okay. I always second guess myself on my spelling when I'm right in front of other people. What else does the foundation do?
keep you from dying.
Okay.
Give you something to walk
True.
on.
Supportive, stable, safety, supportive. I know, that's fun, right? SSS. Anything else? Structure. How about a place to start? It's a flat place to start, a starting point. Would you guys agree with that? Also starts with S. What do you think a good foundation in a relationship is? Friendship. You're right. Who said Jesus? You're right. You're right. But Jesus is where you pick to put your foundation, okay? Where you pick to put it. Alright, so friendship. Would you guys agree that if you are in a good friendship, that keeps you stable?
Yes.
It's a good safety for you. It's supportive. This is a T. And it's a starting point. See what I did there? Okay. So friendship, that's a good place to start. Do people start like that a lot?
No.
People are like, he's hot, I think I'm gonna date him. Or I like that outfit that girl's wearing. She's gonna be my girlfriend. And they've never even talked. Like, how are you going to know if you share values or share goals or even like the way the other person chews? Like, that's a deal breaker for me. I don't know about you guys, but so you got to be friends with this person. What's the next step? You have a foundation. What's next? Walls. What do walls do?
Keeps the
roof on.
It keeps the roof on.
Keeps
There are boundaries. You're right. You can't walk through your walls unless you're vision. Do you got any superhero people?
shuts down the government.
Boundaries. What else do the walls do?
Shuts down the government.
Keeps people out, so it's a safety. And it keeps people in, so that's the boundaries. What else? So privacy? Kind of.
I mean, there's still windows.
I mean, there's windows, but it'd be weird if you were taking a shower and there were no walls, right? Privacy. That would be weird, right? So whoever said shelter earlier, that was good. All right, so we're friends with somebody. This is a great starting point. It's a supportive friendship. You feel safe, stability in this. So now we could probably move to a dating relationship.
Getting wet.
You think? Yes, I always hear that. When I do this in schools, guys say, if I had friends first, they'll put me in the friend zone. No, you have to be friends first. If you get put in the friend zone, it was never meant to be. Okay? So a committed relationship, what does that mean? What does commitment mean?
It means not breaking up.
Two people that are loyal to one another, right? They're exclusive. I heard that earlier. Only dating each other, they're loyal to one another, a committed relationship. In a committed relationship, is there boundaries set?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there safety, protection in a committed relationship?
Yeah.
You should feel safe, right? And is there privacy to some degree in a committed relationship? There should be, right? Okay. So we have our walls. What do we need now?
Roof.
By the way, is it roof or roof? I think we should vote. If you think it's roof, raise your hand. If you think it's roof, raise your hand.
I think it's
We need a door.
Which one is
The
it?
roof keeps people getting wet.
What does the roof do?
Keeps people getting wet.
So, protects you?
Keeps the elements out.
What else does it do?
keeps people out.
Keeps the elements out. Like nature. Nature out.
So it protects you.
Privacy.
What would happen to the walls if we didn't have a roof?
They fall.
They'd fall. So what does it do?
Keeps people out.
It holds everything together like the glue.
Keeps you from dying for your house.
Let's take.
Okay. So people are in a committed relationship for a long time. What normally happens?
Married.
They get married. These are wedding rings. And he got lots of money, so he bought her a big old diamond. See?
Oh yeah.
So they get married. So what do you think the roof is?
It's marriage.
They're already married.
Oh, it's family. It's children.
How do you make babies?
Oh,
And you all pretended like you were afraid to say that word. Okay.
I didn't say it. I said a bet.
So if you're in a loving sexual relationship, such as a marriage, you should feel protected. And it bonds people together. Okay? Remember, two become one. Do you have a question?
They need the door.
The house needs a door. What would you equate the door to being?
It opens the way to get out.
We cannot create any loopholes. This is how we build our relationship.
There's one person that you can't live with.
Okay. So, and everybody builds their house this way, right?
Yes.
What do you guys think? Everybody builds their house this way?
No. Most people do. You need doors and windows.
Yeah, everybody builds their house like that. First,
Or do you think people build their house more like this? Yes. Well, That's a small thing. Okay, so they build their house upside down. What's the problem with this? What's going to happen to our walls?
It's gonna fall down. It's gonna roll away.
What's going to happen to our foundation?
It's gonna break. You try for the rest of your life.
What's left? And is this going to last? This is going to be a great relationship that's going to last a long time. This is not going to be a very long relationship, right? What's the problem with this?
It's upside down.
There is no glue.
There's no glue.
This is the problem. Because we bond, remember, when two become one, you become one spiritually with everybody you have sex with. And you might think, well, sex is just sex. It's physical. That's not what the Bible tells me. And if you believe in the Bible, then you have to believe all of it. It is emotional. It is spiritual. It is physical. Two are becoming one. So, I have a little activity for you guys to kind of show you how bonding works. Because I don't know if you know this, but whenever people have sex, they actually release a hormone in their body. It's called oxytocin. Has anybody ever heard of that? Oxytocin. And it is an actual chemical in your body that makes you bond to whoever you're with. Does that sound weird?
Yeah.
This is scientific stuff. This is science. So this is the same hormone. Oxytocin is the same hormone that women release when they're in labor and to bond to their babies, and they also release it when they are breastfeeding to bond to their babies. So this hormone is released from your brain when you're having sex with somebody. So why would that be a problem? What is it?
You're bonding.
Because you're bonding. But what happens if you release it over and over and over and over?
It gets worn out.
Do you know that it actually, your body becomes kind of numb to that? And then people end up in a marriage and they wonder, what's missing? Why can't I bond to this person like I want to bond to them? Do you know that that bonding wears out when people misuse it and use it all the time? Because it's made. Sex is for two reasons. One, to bond spiritually with the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. And secondly, to make babies. Those are the two reasons. Because our bodies belong to who, actually? And we're supposed to honor him with our bodies, right? Is it honoring to be promiscuous and sleep around? It's not honoring. It's not honoring. And I'm not saying this stuff to make you feel bad if you've already been there, because what happens if you've already been there? What if you've already made some mistakes? Is it too late for you? No. Of course it's never too late, right? Because we can't change the past, but what can we change?
The future.
The future. Have you ever heard today is the first day of the rest of your life?
Yes.
That's kind of cliche, right? But that's real. That's real. You can change your decisions from here on out. All right, so Eric, would you choose 3 guys and 3 girls for me for this activity?
Father, why?
All right, you guys come up on stage and face the people. And I'm going to give you each some tape. All right, grab a hold of it. Girlfriend, get it. There we go. Let's get a hold of it. Come on. You guys act like you've never seen tape before. Oh no!
Did you
guys?
Did you run out?
No, it stuck to the rest of it. Okay. What's the purpose of tape?
To stick things together.
It bonds things together. Yes. All right. So what I want you to do is I want my 3 girls to to compare your tape and find out who has the cleanest tape. And guys, I want you to do the same thing.
I touched my fingers to it though.
Okay, go ahead. You guys can move. You're not
My
stuck.
whole hand. I do.
Did you fold your tape?
No, I didn't even.
Oh my gosh. I can't take these guys anywhere.
It's a clean piece.
Yeah.
No, he has the cleanest piece.
Get it, get it. Alright. Did you guys figure it out yet?
Yours is cleanest. No,
Oh.
Mom.
Okay. You got it? Figured it out?